While FIFA runs the most polluting World Cup in human history across an entire continent, Europe is on fire, literally. As the tournament plays out, Europe is baking under its second brutal heat wave in 2 months, on a planet that has just lived through its 11 hottest years ever recorded. And in the middle of that, the people who actually study this stuff have stopped being polite about FIFA. Scientists, campaigners, even the head of the United Nations. The whole continent is turning on football's governing body and saying the same thing out loud. Stop lying to us about the climate. This is Europe versus FIFA, and FIFA is losing badly. So let's go through how the green mask finally slipped. Start with the backdrop, because the timing could not be more damning. As this World Cup unfolds, the UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres stood up at London Climate Action Week, Europe's largest independent climate conference, and delivered a speech that, whether he named FIFA or not, could have been written about them. He said climate chaos is accelerating before our eyes. He pointed to a world that has now broken through the 1.5 degrees of warming limit set by the Paris Agreement, and he aimed one phrase straight at every powerful organization, hiding its true environmental cost behind glossy public relations. No more hidden costs, no more shifting the burden onto those least able to bear it. It is time to come clean. Come clean. Because right now, FIFA is doing the exact opposite, and Europe has noticed. Here's what FIFA tells you. They talk about sustainability, electric and hybrid vehicle fleets, recycling programs, tree planting. At the COP26 Climate Summit in Glasgow, FIFA President Gianni Infantino personally stood on stage and presented a plan to halve the organization's emissions by 2030 and hit net zero by 2040. They branded the last World Cup in Qatar as carbon neutral. The whole package, the green logos, the pledges, the warm words about football bringing the planet together responsibly. And here's the reality European scientists just dragged into the light. A 2025 report from Scientists for Global Responsibility, working with the Environmental Defense Fund, estimates the carbon footprint of this World Cup could hit 9 million tons of carbon dioxide equivalent. 9 million. That's almost double the average of the last 4 World Cups. It is more than the entire annual emissions of some countries. It makes 2026, beyond any argument, the most polluting World Cup ever held. More than double the footprint of Qatar 2022. The tournament everyone said was an environmental disaster. So FIFA stands on a European stage promising to halve its emissions and then builds a tournament that doubles them. That's not a sustainability plan. That's a magic trick. And the worst part is, the scientists know exactly why it's so dirty, and it's a choice FIFA made on purpose. This is the first World Cup spread across 3 enormous countries: the United States, Canada, and Mexico. FIFA blew the field up from 32 teams to 48, which dragged the number of matches from 64 up to 104, scattered across 16 stadiums up to 2,800 miles apart. And when you design a tournament that sprawling, you are no longer designing football. You are designing a flying machine. Because over those distances, planes aren't an option. They're the only option. Between 80 and 90% of this entire 9 million ton footprint comes from one thing: air travel. A single match is estimated to generate up to 72,000 tons of carbon dioxide. And there are 104 of them. A geographer at the University of Lausanne, David Gogishvili, gave it a name that's now ringing around European climate circles: FIFA's sustainability paradox. FIFA loves to brag. They didn't build new stadiums this time, unlike Qatar. True. But as Gogishvili puts it, they just got rid of one source of pollution and increased it somewhere else, forcing teams and fans to fly across a continent instead. You didn't solve the problem. You moved it, and you made it bigger. And then, he says, you shift the carbon burden onto the fans and the host regions. FIFA designs the sprawl, everyone else pays for it. This is where the European revolt gets personal, because European fans are being hit directly. The BBC ran the numbers. An England fan flying from London to follow their team all the way to the final could clock nearly 15,000 miles and personally generate about 3.5 tons of carbon dioxide, the equivalent of heating an average UK home for 19 months just to watch football. A scientist from Scientists for Global Responsibility called those estimates deeply disturbing, pointing out that one England fan's trip equals 2 to 3 times the entire yearly emissions of an average person in a poorer country like Haiti. The New Weather Institute, a European think tank, flatly labeled this the most polluting sporting event ever staged. This isn't fringe noise. This is the European scientific and campaigning establishment in unison calling FIFA out. And then there's the irony that's burning Europe alive as we speak. Guterres gave that "come clean" speech while France was in the grip of a heat wave linked to thousands of deaths a year. The same heat is threatening this very World Cup. Studies show 14 of the 16 host cities are likely to hit temperatures the Players' Union says should suspend matches. And 20 health and climate experts wrote an open letter warning FIFA that players are at real risk of heat injury. So follow the loop. FIFA builds the most carbon-heavy tournament in history that carbon supercharges the heat waves cooking Europe and the host cities, and then the heat threatens the football itself. They're pouring fuel on a fire and then acting surprised the stadium is too hot. Now here's the part that turns European frustration into genuine fury, the hypocrisy at the very top. While FIFA preaches green, its president flies around the host continent in a private jet provided by Qatar Airways, a FIFA sponsor. In the first 10 days alone, Infantino appeared at 14 matches in 11 different stadiums, often attending 2 cities in a single day. According to the carbon firm Greenly, just 1 hour in that jet emits roughly what an average human being emits in a whole year, and across the tournament, his plane alone could burn through the yearly carbon footprint of around 50 people. Greenpeace put it plainly. Executives taking daily private jet flights doesn't exactly signal that FIFA understands its responsibility on climate. One man lecturing the world about sustainability, circling a continent in a sponsor's jet. And about those sponsors, this is the detail that exposes the whole lie. FIFA signed a massive global partnership with Aramco, Saudi Arabia's state oil company, the single largest corporate greenhouse gas emitter on the entire planet, responsible by itself for over 4% of all global emissions since 1965. Over 100 professional female footballers signed a letter begging FIFA to drop the deal. FIFA kept it. So picture the full scene. FIFA stands on a European stage promising net zero, takes a paycheck from the biggest polluter on Earth, and sends its president to watch the games in a private jet from an airline sponsor. Guterres said, "Come clean." FIFA did the opposite. It cashed the check. And here's what makes Europe's anger land hardest. They offered FIFA a better way, and FIFA said no. 2 years ago, FIFA was handed a bid from Belgium, the Netherlands, and Germany to host a World Cup where every single venue was reachable by train. No flying required. FIFA rejected it. Europe even proved the model works. The 2024 European Championship in Germany gave fans a flat €29 train ticket and free local transport around every match, actively pushing people off planes and onto rails. FIFA knew it could be done. It looked at the low-carbon option, and it chose the continent-spanning, jet-fueled, sponsor-funded version instead. That's not bad luck. That's the business model. So when Guterres tells the powerful to stop hiding their costs and come clean, and when European scientists call this the dirtiest tournament ever, and when European fans realize a single trip to support their team burns more carbon than a Haitian emits in a year. That is a continent in revolt, not against football, against the LIE wrapped around it. FIFA built a 9 million-ton machine, slapped a green logo on the side, and dared everyone to pretend they could not see the smoke. Europe stopped pretending. The question now is whether FIFA ever will. Is this the moment football's green promises finally lose all credibility? Or will FIFA keep selling the same story? Let me know where you stand below, and hit subscribe if you want the side of this World Cup the sponsors would rather keep quiet.